Hey everyone, this is a funny location for a vlog. I'm currently sitting in the river and you guys are on the riverbank because there's not really anywhere else to put the camera, and it actually ended up looking pretty cool because you can see the bridge behind me, and I hope you can hear me over the river sounds. And also all the cicadas, they're pretty loud as well. But I wanted to talk about my #1 struggle since coming to Japan and studying abroad at Meiji University, and I'm now at a homestay in Ome, a countryside little village near Tokyo, or like in Tokyo but outside the main city center. And that struggle that I face in Japan so far, traveling alone, is self-discipline. Self-discipline is my #1 struggle. I find that self-discipline and depression for me go very hand in hand. They're like buddies. What happens is my impulse when I have a lot of time on my hands is to do things that don't actually further my goals and my desires. So, for example, if I'm in Japan to learn Japanese, I'll have learning Japanese as my like big goal that I want to accomplish, but then in my current moment, right now, where all my power is, I won't actually do anything to further that goal. And of course I know the only way to achieve things is to do them in the present moment. Like if I want to learn Japanese, I have to study Japanese. If I want to be someone who gets into really good shape and eats really healthily, etc., etc., I have to do those things that'll get me there now. I can't think, oh, one day I'll do them, because that's not going to get me there, right? But the problem is that here in Japan, and this has been an issue throughout my life, with like small breaks here and there, I guess when I've found some like mojo in me, I guess, is that a lot of my time here in Japan has been spent feeling a bit ashamed, I guess, for my inability to discipline myself, and I guess it's opened up this kind of knowing in me that it's something that I really want to work on, but it's something that I don't want to just accept about myself. I don't want it to be how it is right now, but I also don't want to be mean to myself, because the issue with it is that when I've been here, a lot of the time I spent in Japan at Meiji University, which was an amazing opportunity, I spent a lot of time alone, and I beat myself up for it a lot, like for the fact that I spent so much time alone. I did do a lot of stuff that kind of broke me out of my comfort zone. I went to language meetups. I made some friends in Tokyo. I made my language videos. But, you know, like, the perfect version of my trip here would have involved more language study and making Japanese friends and spending more time out of my room. But I found that no matter how much I wanted that in theory, my actions didn't follow through with that. So I was left at the end when I got my certificate kind of feeling like I could have done more. I could have spent this time more wisely, because I guess my knowledge is there that this is such a great opportunity, but I guess I know I know what I'm capable of, and I know what I did, and I know that I have the ability to do more. But then there's also the side of it that is like, I can't always be beating myself up and being disappointed when that's not a good use of emotional energy. I would rather just give myself grace and accept my process and understand that I can only operate from where I'm at. I can't wish that I was some perfect version of myself, because obviously she's never gonna materialize. I am me. This is like who I am. I can't like magically become a perfect version of me. I can only take the baby steps to get there. And I guess I've realized lately that the problem is that I guess I have this kind of perfect version of myself in my head that maybe I currently can't quite live up to all at once. Like, it's not something I can just snap my fingers and become her. And I don't know if I'll ever become her, because she's so like, ooh, perfect. But I guess the reason why I'm here at the river to make this video is I felt that it was a good kind of metaphor for what I was going through here. I thought it kind of would help you guys understand kind of what I'm going through a little bit. This river is very cold, especially on a really hot day. The first day I came here, I was with Kana, a new friend I made, who is an ex-student of my host here at Ome. And we came here on a boiling hot day, and the water felt freezing, like it felt so cold. And we got in, but we kind of just sat in here. We watched some teenage boys go into the actual currents. A few days later, I found myself coming across the bridge here to get groceries, and I thought to myself, I'm so annoyed at myself for not swimming more. Like, why do I spend so much time inside? This is a constant rumination of mine for the whole time I've been here. Why don't you do more? Why don't you go outside more? Why do you always want to spend so much time inside on your computer? Like, that's my comfort zone. That's like what my subconscious is always like wanting me to do. Not like my highest conscious, subconscious, the part of me that just wants to release all my anxieties and just completely let go. That version of me always wants to stay inside. So when I came over this bridge in the evening a few days ago, I was like, why didn't you go in the river more often? And then all of a sudden I was like, well then go in the river now. So I did. I just locked my bike up and came down here and jumped in the river. And it was strange. It was like, because I had decided that I wanted to go in here, unlike other times where I would have like put my foot in and been like, it's so cold. I literally just jumped in immediately, and it was so refreshing and I felt so good. And I guess that's kind of like a representation of how I feel a lot of the time, that I know these things in life, like jumping out of my comfort zone to learn Japanese, for example, will make me feel amazing, will further my own self-esteem and my desires of where I want to be in life. But the actual action of taking like my body through the motions of doing what I have to do in the present moment often isn't comfortable. It often is like a freezing river where you have to just decide you're going to jump in because you know that it'll feel really good when you do it, you know? Like, there's that part of you that knows it'll feel amazing, but there's still that other part of you that's like, oh, I'll be wet, it's kind of late in the day, you know? Like, it's so silly to me because it's like, I know that it's the best thing for me to do, but I still often can't get myself to do it. And there's so many things like that in my life right now. Like, I find, like, you know, when you know in theory what you have to do, but you can't actually get yourself to do it. There's a couple things, like, one thing, I'll probably make a video about this more in depth, is that I have a bit of a problem with something called dermatillomania, which is skin picking. So I have all these little spots on my body from picking my skin. And it doesn't matter how much I know that I shouldn't do it. In the moment, I still do it. And that's frustrating. So I've been meaning to make a video about that for a while, but it's one of the things that I'm most ashamed about. So I've been like keeping it inside, but I know that that's obviously not the best thing to do. With something like this, it's better to talk about it and be more open. Just, I want to be more clear and not just let it kind of float around in my head. I want to be like, this is what I want. These are the steps I'm going to do to try to get there. And I'm not going to keep it to myself. Because I guess with this skin picking problem, I've kind of kept it to myself because that feels safer. That feels more like I don't have to worry about other people's opinions. I can keep it as my like comfort blanket or something, which is silly because I obviously don't want to be doing it. You might have heard of Becky J. Brown. She has a YouTube channel about trichotillomania, which is an issue where you pull your hair. I don't have that. I have the issue where if I get a bug bite or something, I like cannot bring myself to not touch it. So yeah, it's like that. It's like with Japanese studying, it's with exercising, it's with stuff like I want to create Jolvie as a business and a platform for mental health, and I have so many ideas for that because I feel like journaling is such a powerful tool, but I haven't really been able to fully commit to it. And I've lately been really doing more for it, so I'm quite proud of myself for that. Yeah, so there's just a bunch of little areas of my life that I feel excited about changing, but I haven't really been able to fully get my whole self on board, and I guess I really want to do that. So here I am, just sitting in the river, talking to all of you, and I guess just let this video be a reminder to you that I'm here with you if you ever feel like there are things in your life that you are wanting but you can't get yourself to do. That like thought and action gap, I feel it. And oh my gosh, it's so windy. again next time. Bye.